Thanks, guys. The Kansas City Stadium, then the stage for tonight's Group E game. A big bowl-like open ground here in Kansas. The stands filled with yellow and blue shirts. Yellow for Ecuador, who saw their 19-game unbeaten run come to an end against Ivory Coast in Philadelphia in their opening game. A 90th minute winner from Amad Diallo silenced the overwhelmingly Ecuadorian crowd that day. The blue shirts tonight for the small Caribbean nation of Curaçao, who fought valiantly in their first ever World Cup game last time out, losing 7-1 to Germany. This stadium, usually called the Arrowhead Stadium, primarily serves as the home of the NFL side Kansas City Chiefs. And look, I'm not an NFL fan, but I know that they've been successful in recent years. Seating capacity of 76,000, half the total population of Curaçao, that is. Alongside me then, Perry Groves, as mentioned, former Arsenal winger, and we spoke about Curaçao and how they tried to go toe-to-toe with Germany. They didn't just bed in and try and defend. How do you think they're going to approach today then?
Yeah, I think they've probably learned a lot from that game, Flo, to be fair, because they probably were a little bit naive, and they needed to get in at half-time with Jeffrey still in the game. And if they could have got in at 1-1 or 2-1 down, then there'd have been that doubt in the Germans' minds. But Havertz scored just before half-time, and it went in 3-1, and then that freed Germany up. And they looked a little bit too open. So that's why, looking at their team shape, we expect them to go sort of 5 at the back, and out of possession, it will be a 5-4-1. And you know that Ecuador are going to dominate possession, but it's whether Ecuador can have that creativity to, unlock the defence of Curaçao. But again, there's jeopardy in this game, and we were talking as well. I think the opening games of this, I think they've been of a real high standard, because I've been lucky enough to do teams like Jordan, who surprised me with their quality on the ball. They had a player called Olwan who was on in the wide areas who scored. He was absolutely superb. New Zealand as well. Obviously we know Chris Wood up front, and then they had Singh and Justin behind. Just got his 2 goals. So there's loads of different players that come to the fore that normally you wouldn't see, and they're in the shop window. Could get themselves a big move, and it expands football globally. I mean, let's be honest, Infantino hides behind the fact that he wants to expand the football and develop it in different countries, but it's about the commercial value for him and FIFA, because they can sell the TV rights to 48 countries. But I think the standards have been really good.
So it will be Ecuador that get us underway. The other game in this group, Germany came from behind to beat Ivory Coast, booked their place in the knockout rounds as the Ecuadorians get us underway in all yellow with a blue trim, shooting from right to left as we look. No room for error now for Ecuador. They'll be bitterly disappointed with that loss on the opening game. And with Germany winning earlier, they cannot lose this. If they lose, Ecuador are out. Curaçao might have lost their first game, but unlike the Ecuadorians, they did manage to score their first ever goal at a World Cup, and that is Ecuador's major flaw, their lack of goals. They are so reliant on veteran forward Enner Valencia. Ecuadorian fans will be hoping against a smaller nation like Curaçao, their side can perhaps fill their boots tonight, boost their confidence ahead of game against Germany, as here come the Ecuadorians down the left-hand side. Ball's played back to Arsenal's Piero Hincapié, who looks like he's on the left side of a back 3, and that's a loose pass to Franco now that goes on the far side for a throw-in for Ecuador. Yeah,
just a sloppy pass from Hincapié there, just trying to go from left to right over to Pacho. As you said, it looks like it's going to be the back 3 of Pacho, Hincapié and Franco, and then Vite will go on the right-hand side and play as a right wing-back, where Estupinian is the left wing-back.
Minute played, you're listening to Talk Sport. Ecuador 0, Curaçao 0, as Paris Saint-Germain's William Pacho just managed to usher the ball out of play for a goal kick, which he decides to take quickly. His goalkeeper does even into him. Pink boots, he squares it to Hincapié on the edge of his own box in the left back position. Forward it goes, and off one of the Curaçao defenders for an Ecuador throw in, just 5 yards or so inside their own half on this near side as we look. Estupinian now, one that had 3 very good seasons at Brighton, joined AC Milan last summer for £16 million as Ecuador hit it long to Enner Valencia, and he's through on goal here, Valencia, and the strike is well saved onto the bar by Room. Really good chance for Enner Valencia early on.
What a save from the Curaçao goalkeeper Room. He's 1v1 with Enner Valencia. It's a great run from Enner Valencia. Curaçao's defence a little bit too high. It's a great ball from Caicedo, just dinks it over the top. Valencia gets it onto his right foot. He should be scoring, maybe sliding it underneath. Room pulled off a brilliant save low down to his left hand side. So a corner for Ecuador over on their right.
First corner of the game then, within the opening 3 minutes. 0-0 the score. In it comes in swinger near post, easily cleared at the near post by Leandro Bacuna. So Ecuador have already hit the woodwork. They hit the woodwork 3 times actually against Ivory Coast. Couldn't find the back of the net, ended up losing that by a goal to 0.
Yeboah has just taken the corner, obviously in swinger from the right hand side of his left foot. He's hit the first man. You've got it was Leandro Bacuna at the near post. If he does that again, he should be taken off.
Docked wages.
Exactly.
Curaçao win the ball back in their left back position, but the pressure from Yeboah forces it to go out for a throw-in. Will be a throw-in though for Curaçao. Ecuador are unbeaten in each of their last 13 meetings with CONCACAF opposition across all competitions since 3-2 defeat versus Mexico. And Enner Valencia, we're seeing on our monitors in front of us a replay of that chance. He had a really early chance against Ivory Coast which he couldn't take, and he couldn't take that one there. So here come Curaçao down the right hand side, hugging the touchline is Taif Chong. Plays it back in field. Comenencia trying to use a bit of trickery to get past Hincapié, but the Arsenal man stands firm. Here's Franco now, the right centre back for Ecuador. It goes to William Patrick on the edge of his box.
Yeah, see for Ecuador, obviously you've got the 3 centre halves that are splitting the width of the 18-yard box. It's normally Caicedo just drops a little bit deeper, to try and get him ticking along, being the conductor. He's got Alcivar just alongside him in that midfield area. But you have to be more ruthless than that. Enner Valencia got his 49 obviously goals for Ecuador and his 1v1. It is a brilliant save from Room. Save low down to his left hand side. He gets a big left palm to it when it just like loops up and goes past the post. But then a bit of naivety there from Curaçao because there's no pressure on the ball when Caicedo's on it, and they're just far too far up the pitch. Just too much of a high line.
4 minutes played. Ecuador 0, Curaçao 0. Ecuador have hit the bar already. That's the only meaningful bit of attacking action we've got as Leandro Bacuna gets the ball under control in the middle of the park, plays it into the centre circle for his brother Juninho Bacuna. Here they come, Curaçao. Bacuna again on the edge of the penalty area, won't quite sit up for the shot, and he on the stretch couldn't reach it, and it's cleared well by Hincapié. It's now with Ecuador on this left hand side. Estupinian into the left inside channel looking for Valencia, but Curaçao's goalkeeper clears downfield, the pass too long.
I have to say, like Curaçao, obviously they've conceded that early chance in the first minute, but when they're in possession, they look to play forward very, very quickly. We said meant to a little link up there between the Bacuna brothers into Taif Chong, who's trying to get himself up with and support Lacadia. But Sebastian Becasese, I thought I'd get that one out early doors. The Curaçao manager, you can tell that he's actually said to his players, look, we're not coming here to have our bellies tickled, we're actually coming here to be competitive and cause Ecuador problems.
Here's Yeboah for Ecuador, tries the crossfield pass out to the left hand side looking for Estupinian. Comes back to Taif Chong, they plays it back into his own half. Here's Leandro Bacuna, can't quite beat Moises Caicedo. Such a bullish figure in the centre of the park for the Ecuadorians. He's just telling his teammates to calm down on the ball as it's back with Pacho. Franco now. Pink boots, one of his players out there. Pink boots as it's forward to Plata. Comes back, here is Plata. Ball up to Valencia in the penalty area. He's got Gari for company. He's forced away from goal into a wide position. Goes back to the right corner of the box, and it's now all the way back to William Pacho, midway inside Curaçao's half. He helps it on to Hincapié. Hincapié, who really struggled against Yan Diamonde, the right-sided forward for Ivory Coast. Had a really good game again earlier today against Germany. So unlucky the Ivorians to lose to a last-minute Dennis Undav goal against Germany. And that clarifies the group as well. It means that Ecuador need to not to lose here, or else they are eliminated. Curaçao can't be eliminated today, but anything but a point, and they would be a difficult position as they clear downfield. 7 minutes played. Taif Chong puts the ball through the legs of Hincapie over the halfway line. It's 3v2 here. Chong onto the edge of the penalty area, now looking for Locadia, and he wasn't the right pass. Cut out really well by Pacho. Just kept his cool, waited, and then intercepted the through ball.
Yeah, it's brilliant playing this from Taif Chong. There's a see you later to Hincapie, just push it around one side, runs around the other, and then travels for a good 30 yards, 40 yards. And Juninho Bacuna is totally unmarked on his left-hand side. Pick the wrong options. If he rolls it to him, he's one-on-one against Galindez, the Ecuadorian goalkeeper. But Curaçao have been very, very expressive going forward.
Here they come with Fonville from range, and it was well struck, viciously struck, but some way off the target. Behind it goes for an Ecuadorian goal kick.
Well, again, just showing about the bravery of Curaçao going forward. This time it's Fonville on the left-hand side, just gets it onto his right foot. It actually is a good strike, puts his foot through the ball, but doesn't hit the target.
The man that was uncapped prior to being named in the 2026 World Cup squad. This is just his fourth appearance and first ever World Cup appearance as well. He came in as one of two changes ahead of this game as Curaçao have the ball back with their goalkeeper Room in this penalty area. He plays the ball up looking for a teammate. It's cut out though by Caicedo. Then on the stretch he manages to get it back to Alcivar. He was one of two changes as well, Alcivar, for Ecuador. 8 minutes played then. Still 0-0 in this Group E game between Ecuador and Curaçao. Ecuador have the ball. It goes to Plata, looking to help it on to Valencia, but it's all the way back to Curaçao. Now here's Janina Bacuna back to Fonville. Really good ball in behind for Locadia. Locadia up against William Pacho. Locadia lays into the path of Bacuna, and he couldn't quite get the strike off. And behind it goes for a corner. And in fact, the offside flag is that good spot, Perry.
Yeah, it looked initially, it was a great little ball from Fonville down the left-hand touchline, and then just look now, Locadia is a good yard offside. To be fair to Pacho, they held a good line, didn't follow the run in. But again, if Locadia is a little bit cuter, and then he just bends his run, then he's in on goal.
A couple of really good early chances for both sides then. Janina Bacuna, player that had 21 appearances and one Premier League goal in his time at Huddersfield, also had spells at Birmingham and Rangers as well. I remember years ago I signed him on Football Manager as well, you know, Perry. He was a star, an absolute star for me. Here's Hincapie.
More wage increase then?
Oh yeah, he's a star player on the top dollar. Here's Pacho for Ecuador in the centre circle. 10 minutes played, still 0-0 here in Group E. Ecuador disappointing in their first game. A lot of people talking about them as a dark horse, but they have problems in front of goal, and they sort that out today. Here's Plata, just eases past a couple of defenders at 40 yards out from goal, in a central position, looking for the pass for Estupinian, who made the run on the left, and Curaçao cleared downfield all the way to the Ecuadorian goalkeeper Galindez. Man who is a late bloomer, made his first international start debut when he was 34 years of age. He's now 39, one of the older players at the competition.
Yeah, just look at Ecuador there, just a little example of, you know, that little lack of spark going forward, because initially it was really good link-up play with Estupinan and Plata on the left-hand side, a little give and go, and then Plata just carries it forward 20-25 yards, and he hasn't got a picture in front of him. There's good movement on the right-hand side from Franco coming up, and he just tries to play it inside into a plethora of the Curaçao defenders' bodies. And again, with Curaçao, obviously we talk about the population of Curaçao is 155,000. Like Southend had 30,000. But look at the way that they've attacked this game. They're actually, like, when they're in possession, they're going back out of possession like a 5-3-2. They're leaving Taif Chong just around Locadia. So if they do get the ball, they've got something to break off of. Whereas normally we thought they'd go maybe into a 5-4-1, and it would be, you know, you just got to break us down. But they're not. They're actually being adventurous when they got the ball.
11 minutes played. Ecuador 0, Curaçao 0 on TalkSport as it's played through, looking to Yeboah onto the edge of the penalty area. In his strike was a decent one, but a routine save really for Room, who just got down low to his right to smother.
Yeah, it's a really good play from that left hand side from Yeboah, from the right hand side, just coming in, from out to in, just gets it onto his left foot, and he should be starting it maybe a yard outside Room's right hand post. He tries to bend it, but he ends up bending it straight down the midriff of Room, who just dives down to his right hand side and makes a comfortable save.
Dick Advocate, the manager of Curaçao, up on his feet. Not pleased with an offside there given against Locadia. It's the second time now the number 9 for Curaçao has been caught in an offside position, and they're not going to get too many chances. They don't want to waste opportunities like that by giving away silly little free kicks. This is his third World Cup as a national manager. He was Netherlands manager in 1994 in the first USA World Cup.
Was he 78 and 267 days?
He's nearly as old as you.
Well, do you know what? I'll be happy just putting my slippers on when I get to 78, let alone manage a team in the World Cup.
Ecuador in possession, 13 minutes played. Ecuador 0, Curaçao 0. Here is Hincapié, midway inside Curaçao's half. Back to Moises Caicedo. Thinks it out to Franco on the right-hand side. To Yeboah, hugging the touchline, plays the ball back in field. That's a nice little pass. Ecuador into the penalty area now, and the strike is off target in the end from Vite, but you can see what he was trying to do, trying to lift it with his left foot and put it in that top corner, but didn't quite get his accuracy right.
Yeah, again, it was better passing movement from Ecuador on that right-hand side with Vite and Yeboah. Again, another little give and go. Yeboah just plays it back inside to Vite. Vite gets into the 18-yard box in that right-hand corner. He's just got stuck under his feet a little bit. He's trying to bend it with his left foot into Room's top right-hand corner. But say, he just needs to get out his feet a little bit more. But it was better passing from Ecuador, because in this first 14 minutes, they haven't moved the ball quick enough. They've got to get it sharper. Just looking at Hincapié there, it's small details, but he's taken 3 touches where it should be out of his feet and just moving it very, very quickly.
The Arsenal man on the ball now, spraying it out to the right-hand side with Franco. In terms of Ecuador's woes in front of goal, they've only scored 1 goal in their last 6 competitive matches, and that was a penalty against Argentina in the World Cup qualifying campaign back in September 2025. So they're really struggling in terms of open play goals. Here's Vite out on the right-hand side. Plays it back to Caicedo in the centre circle. Pink boots, shaved head, which is dyed peroxide blonde, easy to spot, although Ina Valencia is also sporting the same haircut.
When it comes to King of the Day, Taif Chong's got my man of the match already. He's got black boots, so he's gone old school, back to the 70s and 80s.
Quarter of an hour played, 0-0 still. Ecuador in possession with Estupinian.
So just looking at Plata coming there deeper. Estupinian just rolled it into him, and he's got nobody within 7 or 8 yards of him, and he's got no awareness of what's behind, because he should let it roll across his body, and then he's facing Curaçao's goal where it comes short, and because he's square on, he ends up playing it backwards.
Here comes Plata now, edge of the penalty area, still going. Plata trying to dribble past too many in the end, and Curaçao managed to clear up to Chong. Chong goes back to Brenet. Here's Bakuna now, and the Curaçaoans do well to hold on to the ball in their own defensive third. That's given away a little cheaply though, and then a quick shot from Plata, which nearly caught Room on alert. He had to pat it down before claiming it again. The Curaçao side not happy with a challenge on Comenencia in that passage of play, and he's down and might need a little bit of treatment here.
Yeah, Comenencia just taking that touch too many, to be fair to Moises Caicedo, who does really well. Goes and closes him down, comes to Plata again, gets it onto his left foot. Not enough strength on the shot, easy save for Room. Just low down to his right hand side. But as well, we're looking at Curaçao. Obviously Dick Advocate, we talked about, the experience of the manager. You can tell that these smaller nations now are so far better coached now than what they ever have been. I go back to World Cups of 74, which I can remember, in Germany, 78 in Argentina, and the lesser nations, they were all over the place. There was no structure. You look at the smaller nations now, they are far better. Even looking at Curaçao now, so you're going in that 5-3-2 formation, and they're better technically. The players now are far better technically than what they've ever been.
It's the voice of former Arsenal winger Terry Groves. We're on TalkSport. It's Ecuador 0, Curaçao 0. An entertaining opening 16 minutes or so though. Both sides having opportunities. And Valencia with a very good one in the opening stages for the Ecuadorians, and they've hit the woodwork as well. On the ball now is Obispo, product of the PSV youth setup, over 100 appearances for Curaçao. Juninho Bakuna trying to get away from his marker, goes all the way back to the centre back, and now here come Curaçao over the halfway line. Comanencia goes from range himself, breaks for Chong in the penalty area, good little drop of the shoulder, got the strike off. It was charged down on 2 occasions though, and the whistle is gone anyway. But Chong looks really sharp out there, Perry.
Yep, so he's the one who's given that sort of free roll, playing off the cardio, who's the focal point for Curaçao up front. He said Chong just showing really good feet in the 18-yard box, a couple of left-footed shots, but to be fair to Ecuador, they made sure that Tacho and Capier just went and engaged the ball and closed him down. But there's been a lot more jeopardy throw in this game, isn't there, in this first 8. It isn't just forwards against defence, can you try and break us down?
Very much so. Here's William Pacho, so good for Paris Saint-Germain this season. There's a 5-yard square pass back to Hincapié. Those two are on opposite sides in the Champions League final as PSG beat Arsenal in that competition. Quite a little ponderous now by the Ecuadorians. Franco, just 5 yards inside his own half on the right inside channel, back to Pacho. Ecuador have become regulars recently in the World Cup. Now featured in 5 of the last 7 tournaments. They've only ever got out of the group stages on one occasion though, in 2006. And they lost that round of 16 to England. A 1-0 win, David Beckham free kick on that occasion. As Ecuador help it out to the right hand side, just over the halfway line now. And it goes to Yeboah. Works it back to a teammate, dribbles back into his own half. It's now with Moises Caicedo out to the left hand side. That's a really well worked move. Here is Hincapié now, first time cross across, looking for Valencia, who got his toe to it, but it was too close to the goalkeeper, and Room got down quickly to gather. Another good chance for Valencia, still 0-0 though.
Better pass in there from Ecuador, just moved it a lot quicker. Just all 1 and 2 touch coming out to this left hand side. Then it was Hincapié, just got on the overlap, just a little ball, first time from Estepinian, released him, and then Capier did exactly the right thing, just crossed it first time with his left foot. Valencia getting across the near post, couldn't quite get enough purchase what he wanted to. He wanted to get a flick with the outside of his right foot, end up coming off his toe, go straight to Room, but it was just better movement from Ecuador that time.
Here is Pervis Estepinian out to Plata on the left hand side, just inside Curaçao's half. A nice couple of exchanges, and then it's played into the left inside channel looking for Plata. A challenge comes in, a good one though from Obispo, and Curaçao clear as far as Hincapié, just inside his own half on the left hand side. And they switch it out, the Ecuadorians, to the right now. Here is Franco, 13 appearances for him in World Cup qualifying. Difficult to qualify for the World Cup through the South American pathway. Teams like Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, so much talent in South America. Is it sent forward looking for Valencia out on this left hand side, level with the penalty area but near the corner flag. 20 minutes played, Ecuador 0, Curaçao 0 here on TalkSport. The Ecuadorians starting to assert a little bit more dominance and control in terms of possession and opportunities, Perry.
Yep, just moving it a little bit quicker. One thing I would say is when they're building up Ecuador, I don't think Caicedo has to drop as deep as what he's dropping, because you've got your 3 centre halves of your Pacho in the centre of him. If you're the centre half, you'll be telling him just to push up a bit more.
Ball put into the penalty area and was about to break for Estepinian, but it didn't quite, and a couple of half clearances, and then behind it goes for a goal kick, a clearance off Plata. Goal kick then for the Curaçao.
Yeah, just seeing that chance again. A great ball from Hincapié, and Valencia getting across the near post, just couldn't quite get enough on it. Goes straight to Room. You mentioned about Ecuador, the standard of teams have to play against. That defeat against Ivory Coast was their first defeat in 2 years, which is they were 19 unbeaten before that game. I mean, they're a bit binary. They had a lot of 0-0 draws, I think 6 in those 19 games, a lot of 1-0s, but again, they're very well coached. Sebastian Becasese, obviously their young manager, gets them well structured, But it's just, even though they've had, I think, 5 shots in this first 22 minutes, the only, what you'd say was world-class save from Rooney was the first one from Enevalentia down to his left-hand side. The other ones have been pretty routine.
Yeah, they are missing clinical finishers even amongst their side. Dominating possession control here, though, with 63%. Here is Vite, puts the ball in, it's cleared by Obispo.
Do we like the in-contest possession? It's another very American, isn't it, where the percentage now don't add up to 100% for both teams, do they? It can be a bit confusing sometimes.
Yeah, it's percentage for one team, percentage for the other, and then the in contest. Yeah. I'm not sure about it.
It's what exactly it's like, obviously, when they're tackling or the ball's running free. But who is the actual stato who's saying, yeah, no team's in control possession there? We'll just throw it in.
Midway inside this first half, really nice little turn right in front of the managers there from Bakuna, and it was a foul from Pacho. Brought his man down there, and that's a professional foul. Really nice move from Bakuna.
Normally that would be a booking, that would be a yellow card, because Janino Bakuna on that right hand touchline for Curaçao does really well, gets it from Chong, just flicks it basically through Tacho's legs, goes to run round him. Tacho just steps across and blocks him, and Ningma, the Chinese referee, I think that's because it's Curaçao. If that's any other game, that is a booking.
Yeah, it was a professional foul, and he was through on that right hand side. If not, also the Chinese referee Mao Ning, I did a bit of research into him as well. His nickname in the Chinese league is the Card Master. He's known for sending out brandishing cards, but not on that occasion.
He's a little bit card happy, is he? We'll see him in Vegas around the poker tables.
So we are now in the hydration break then, and so far Ecuador with more possession and control, but as has been the problem for them in recent games, in recent years under Sebastian Becasese, struggling to find the goal, which is what they need to try and break this game open. As we take this hydration break, a chance for me to tell you what else is coming up on TalkSport after us. 3 a.m. till 5 a.m. we've got World Cup Game Day live with Ben Fletcher. We've got another game at 5 a.m. Tunisia versus Japan. And then 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. it's Weekend Sports Breakfast with Max Scott, and Tony Cascarino. More commentaries on Sunday. We've got every kick at the 2026 World Cup. Spain looking for their first win against Saudi Arabia. 5 p.m. kick-off on Sunday with the build-up on TalkSport from 4 p.m. After that, 8 p.m. on Sunday, it's Belgium, Iran, and then we've got Marcelo Bielsa's Uruguay against Cape Verde at 11 p.m. Talking of Bielsa as well, Sebastian Becasese, his role model is Marcelo Bielsa. The style of play isn't quite as exciting.
No, it's not the mayhem, is it? It's not the carnage that we have under Bielsa. But to be fair, Ecuador have had a couple of chances where they've got to be obviously more clinical. They've had 6 shots and 4 on target. Dick Advocaat will give warnings to the Curaçao defenders because their concentration level has been very good, apart from that one chance they gave up where it was too high, where there's no pressure on the ball from Casado's pass. But so I've been really impressed with Curaçao in this first sort of 22 and a half minutes.
He's clearly got them well drilled, Dick Advocaat, a man that's managed so many national sides, including Iraq, Serbia, Russia, Belgium, UAE. He's managed more national teams than Curaçao have played World Cup games. He really is a very, very experienced manager. Moises Caicedo in a deep conversation with his manager, Argentinian Sebastian Becasese, one of 6 Argentinian managers at this World Cup. He's got long blonde hair, wearing a rather fetching jumper. It's rather hot in Kansas City, around 28 degrees Celsius, as the players drift back onto the pitch. And these hydration breaks very much breaking the games into quarters, aren't they?
Yep, it's very American, and obviously they're behind the guise of players getting rehydrated and getting the fluids into the system. We all know it's for advertising. I think I was reading an article yesterday that they said that FIFA will make something like 760 million from the extra advertising.
Money talks. 26 minutes played, Ecuador 0, Curaçao 0 here on Talk Sport. Hydration break over. Here's Taithchong midway inside Ecuador's half. Tries to spray it out to the left-hand side. Well cut out by Yeboah, but it does reach the man on the left wing for Curaçao in the end. They're forced back into their own half though, and they go all the way back to Room, their goalkeeper, who's made 4 saves already. Made 4 saves against Germany in the whole game. Had to pick the ball out of his net on 7 occasions. Really good save from Enner Valencia in the opening couple of minutes as well. Here's Yeboah for Ecuador up to Valencia. Nice little 1-2. Tries to feed Plata. Plata on the edge of the box. Brilliant half volley, but again straight at Room. All the chances for Ecuador have either gone off target or been straight at the goalkeeper.
This time it was actually a better contact there from Plata, because it was really good play on that right hand side with Yeboah linking up with Enner Valencia. Again, another little give and go, just rolls it into Plata. Good first touch with his left foot, just sits up on the edge of the right foot. He gets a half volley, and it's the better contact this time. You said there though, straight at Room, straight down the barrel. You know, where maybe he should be just thinking, right, I'm going to try and aim it either side and put it a little bit lower. But it was better link-up play that time. The ball was moved quicker. And I'm just looking at, obviously, Ecuador out of possession as well. I think that they could actually have more intensity in their press. I think there's not enough there. They're pressing, but it's like, all right, we're pressing because we expect Curaçao to give us the ball back anyway. Whereas they can set the tempo better in their pressing and win the ball higher up the pitch.
As Curaçao won a free kick in their left-back position. 28 minutes on the clock. It's the first time these sides are ever meeting. That's the case for Curaçao against a lot of their opponents, though, of course, on their debut in the World Cup. Small Caribbean nations up to Rocadilla. Brenner now on the edge of the Ecuador box. Bakuna with the strike, and it struck his own teammate. And it'll roll out for a goal kick for Ecuador. Pacho making sure that Bakuna couldn't quite reach it.
Yeah, again, it just shows you the confidence that the Curaçao players are just starting to have, because you've got Brennett there who's the right back. He's actually ended up on the edge of the D, so when Junior Bakuna gets a shot away, he actually hits his heels. So again, there's just that growing into the game from Curaçao.
Estupinian in the left back position, and Curaçao have pressed him. They've won the ball back. Bakuna onto Leandro Bakuna, sits down his defender, goes for the cut back again, looking for his brother. Couldn't quite pick him out there, and it was well cut out, but a decent opportunity for Curaçao. And the Bakuna brothers, such a key part of this Curaçao side.
Sounds like a Curaçao law firm, doesn't it? The Bakuna brothers, or Bakuna. But he did really well there, to be fair, Leandro Bakuna, because he sat Franco down on his backside. But what he should be doing is rolling the ball across the 6-yard box. He's tried to pull it back to his brother, who's gone and supported him on that left hand side. And fortunate for Ecuador, they get the block at the near post.
15 minutes remaining of this first half. It does help having 2 Bakunas in the midfield. You can just say Bakuna when someone's on the ball in the midfield for Curaçao. As they clear their own penalty area, will be collected by Ngapié. Estupinian to Plata. Dribbles away from the penalty box, back to Caicedo. As you say, Perry, is in quite a deep position. Caicedo playing as a real CDM, but that's not massively necessary against Curaçao. As Yeboah goes down the right hand side, trying to get a bit of space for the cross, but he's followed all the way really well by the fullback, and then one back by Bakuna. Juninho Bakuna on that occasion, given away. Curaçao trying to clear a tiny passage of play on the edge of the Curaçao penalty box. And then it's just put out for a throw-in by Gari, who was just quite unsure about where he was being pressed from and where his teammates were.
Well, I think it was the goalkeeper, Room, actually said to Gari, I don't want it. He could have rolled it back to him to clear it, and he's like, no, you get it turned and you hack it away. Exactly what he's done. He has a little man at stare at goats sort of look at Gari's Room's goalkeeper.
Still 0-0 then, looking closer towards half-time. Here's Franco in his own penalty area, the right-sided centre-back forward for Alcivar. Man that played a season here in the USA, in the MLS for Charlotte FC. Here comes Juninho Bakuna, a little Maradona spin on the edge of the box, but that trick showed too much of the ball to Ecuadorian defenders who cleared it. And now here come Curaçao. Bacuna in the box and a strike straight at Pacho, blocked, and Bacuna is now down. They're looking for a bit of physio attention. Ecuador playing on as things stand. He's holding his knee, which is never a good sign. He kind of span awkward in. Fair play to Ecuador. Moises Caicedo is kicking the ball out so that he can get the attention he needs.
Do you know what I think? Bacuna there might have done his knee where he tried the double roll back, where he put the ball on the sole of his feet and tried a little double, and then he's just spun there and the ball's got stuck underneath his feet, and I think he's obviously put his weight on his left knee, and that's why he's gone down. And to be fair, say Ecuador have been very sporting, because it's not a head injury, it's not a career-threatening injury as well, so they had every right to sort of play on, but they've been just very good sports, which I'm not sure if I would have been.
He does look in some pain though, doesn't it? And as you say, that where he kind of planted his knee and it hyperextended a bit and twisted is never what you want to see from a football player.
Yeah, I think as you said there, he's definitely his left knee. He's got some ligament damage there, so they're going to put the ice pack on it.
But he's been very good so far, isn't he?
But Manning, the Chinese referee, is virtually saying, are you going to make your mind up? Because if we are, we'll get the stretcher on, and then he'll go off, and then we just see the stretcher just looks like it's going to come on.
This is a real shame, would be a real shame for Curaçao, because he's been really bright from attacking sense so far, Juninho Bacuna.
Yeah, so they've freed him up. Advocaat said, to his team, when we're in possession, I want you to get forward and support Lacadia up front, get bodies around him. That's exactly what Bacuna's done, playing on that left-hand side. Thankfully, he's actually walking off the pitch, which is, a better sign.
Yeah, he's back up on his feet, hobbling over to that far touchline with two physios around him. So let's see if he will be able to carry on fifth. Here's a injury that will prevent him from continuing as Curaçao throw the ball back in play, and Chong returns it to Galindez, the Ecuadorian goalkeeper.
Well, we know that Juninho Bacuna's got to be off for a minute at least anyway, but if you're Advocaat, you want the news and the update from the Curaçao physios very, very quickly, because they can't afford to be down to 10 men for too long a time. It's hard enough for them with 9 outfield players, let alone with 10.
Caicedo, the Ecuadorian manager, just stalking his touchline, urging his side forward. Here's Pacho, little couple of yard pass to Caicedo, 40 yards from goal, central position. Now it's in the left inside channel with Hincapié. Out further left to Estupinian. Back to Caicedo now in a more central position. All the Curaçao players back in a deep block, a blue block. Caicedo back out to the left with Hincapié. Looked to cross it with his left, but caught twice of it and played it again. Back to Caicedo. 10 minutes to go to half time now. 0-0 still. Intricate play on the edge of the box here. It breaks down and Curaçao lump it downfield. Locadia, who would usually be up there looking for the forward ball, back defending.
Yeah, basically it's a 5-4 at the moment when they're out of possession. Just defending the edge of their box. I've got to say, from the Ecuadorian point of view, I've been a little bit disappointed with Estupinian actually. I thought he would have more influence on the game. He's playing in that left wing back position, but he hasn't really, had, say, the influence of the game that you expect. Obviously playing with Moises Caicedo, who's an ex-Brighton teammate of his as well. So these players, have got Premier League experience. There's a lot of Ecuadorian players that play in European leagues. I think they need to take more responsibility.
Juninho Bacuna is still off the pitch, so Curaçao still playing with 10 players. Ecuador not really making the most of it. Here is Caicedo. Back to Pacho. Pacho, square pass. Out now it goes on the left-hand channel to Hincapié. And he tries to play it forward, bounces off the defender Brenner and goes out for a throw-in for Ecuador, level with the penalty box, which will be taken by Estupinian. Towards it above his head. Waits for the player and he plays it up. One back though by Chong. And again, Curaçao just pumping it downfield every time they get it at the moment. Back with Galindez, man who grew up in Argentina, And it looks like Juninho Bacuna's back on the field.
I think what they've probably said to him is, give it a little run around just before half-time.
That's poor loose pass, goes straight to Chong, midway inside Curaçao's half, and there is the first yellow card of the game. Alcivar with a professional foul on Taif Chong.
Brilliant play from Taif Chong, just picking the ball up centrally, just have a little body swerve and get into his left foot. Alcivar knows exactly what he's doing, because Bacuna is free on that left-hand side. So that is what you call the archetypal taking one for the team. So a tactical foul there from Alcivar. Take of Taif Chong as he gets away from him, and there's a 2v1 situation on that left-hand side, and quite rightly Man In, the Chinese referee, gets the first yellow card out.
And a chance then for Curaçao to lift the ball into the penalty area. Then it is quite far out, midway inside Ecuador's half, central position. Leandro Bacuna dinks it up, headed clear by Hincapie, only so far as Tahi Chong, who tries to beat a man on the edge of the box but loses it, and now here the counter is on for Ecuador. And that was perhaps not a wise move from Plata, although the referees pulled this back for a free kick for what he's deemed a foul on Plata. I thought that the Curaçaoan midfielder Bacuna won the ball there, Terry.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. I think he maybe just shouldered him off the ball because Plata just tried to play it on the outside of him. And Leandro Bacuna was the one who's coming engaged. Plata, so yeah, they just see there, just like their feet coming together. So we haven't had any yellow cards, and then two come at once. We thought it's like obviously London buses, and we thought that Curaçao were going to park the bus, but they haven't. And the biggest compliment you can take to Curaçao players is they're actually enjoying themselves. They're actually enjoying this game, where I thought it was going to be backs to the wall, and just sort of have what we hold and see if they can, eke out a 0-0. But it's been far from that.
They're looking to defend deep at the end of this first half, perhaps not wanting to repeat the same mistakes they did against Germany, and they're in down the left-hand side. Estupinian for Ecuador, as ball across, blocked though well by Brenner, and the deflection takes it easily into the clutches of the goalkeeper for Curaçao Room.
Yeah, it's just a poor delivery from Estupinian on that left-hand side. Little give and go with Vite. Vite just rolls him in, and as he gets to the byline, he should be dinking up to the far post. Obviously Valencia's made the run at the near post, and in the end it gets a little deflection and just goes through to Room, the Curaçao goalkeeper, at his near post. But again, it's just that lack of quality in that final third. And we said about that they struggle for goals. They haven't scored more than one goal in 12 of the last 16 internationals, Ecuador. And we can see it with our own eyes, can't we, thrown out in this first 40 minutes.
Final 5 minutes then of the first period. Ecuador 0, Curaçao 0. Vite on the ball. Forward ball looking for Estupinian into the penalty box again. Too close to Miami FC's Room, making his 74th appearance for Curaçao. Ball in his hand, and he drop kicks it long, headed by Franco and collected in the centre circle by Chelsea's Moises Caicedo. He finds Alcivar, and the yellow card out to Yeboah on the right hand side. Nice little trick to get past the wing back, but then couldn't get past the centre back. But Ecuador regain the ball. Franco now finds Caicedo, who hooks it on to Hincapie out on this left-hand side. He finds Estupinian, chalk on his boots on the left-hand touchline, back in field to Caicedo. Quick passing this from the Ecuadorians, and here is Estupinian now. He squares it, and a strike comes in from Yeboah. Good save, edge of the box, well struck shot, and again Room with a tidy stop.
Yeah, that was Room with a view right down the barrel, because they come to Yeboah on the edge of the D, just gets it from Estupinian, gets it onto his left foot. Again, it's a decent strike, but I think that Ecuadorians, they're just thinking, right, what I'll do is I'll get a shot on target, and then it's a simple save from Room to his left-hand side. And instead of actually thinking, right, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to pick out the top left-hand corner or the bottom left-hand corner, or pick out the far post. They're actually just shooting on target. And apart from the first save from Valencia, they've been quite straightforward saves from Room in Curaçao's goal.
All a bit rushed when they take the strike, perhaps. Here is Franco out to Yeboah on the right-hand side. Plays it in field. Combines nicely with his teammate, but it's a poor return pass. Curaçao only hold on for a couple of seconds though. Here come Ecuador, and the ball in for Valencia to the penalty area. Couldn't quite bring it into his control, and it's picked up by Room, the goalkeeper for Curaçao.
And again, it's just Ibarra coming on that right hand side, just cutting on his left foot, just trying a little reverse pass into Valencia. Just a little bit overhit, just rolls through to Room.
It's opened up here for Yeboah, midway inside the half, dribbling towards the box, but dribbles straight into the blue shirted defender. And now here come Curaçao. Tahith Chong's making a run on the right, on the left is Locadia up against Pacho. Now on that left hand side, right on the touch line, and Pacho did well, but can only poke it out for a throw in midway inside Ecuador's half. A throw in for Curaçao. Final 2 minutes of this first period, still 0-0.
This is all about game management now from Curaçao's point of view. It's imperative that they get in at 0-0 and don't give Ecuador that sort of little lift. But that was really good play from Fonville, just coming from that left back position, put it out to Ricardo on that left hand side.
Long throw in into the Ecuador box is headed clear by Caicedo. Floranus then just sent it back. Here's the Bacuna brothers combining. There it goes now to Brenner. Chong in the inside right channel, 20 yards from goal. Back it goes to Nuno Bacuna. And it's just fired forward, but Franco chests it down his edge of his own box, finds his teammate. Back it goes to Pacho. PSG forward, looking for a long ball for Stupignon on the left hand side, but again too close to Roux.
Yeah, and just too straight from Pacho, just playing in that left hand channel of the three centre halves, and he's just with his left foot he's just driven it a full 60-70 yards dead straight to Estupinian. Maybe should be looking just to play in midfield, get that extra pass in. We've got Curaçao, the confidence that they're playing with now, just playing out from the back.
Final 60 seconds of the first period. Neither side able to find a goal as of yet. Curaçao have a throw in out on that left hand side, midway inside their own half, with Floranus, key member of this Curaçao squad. Throw in yields possession back to Ecuador. Up on the halfway line, Plata turns Floranus. He's driven wide out to the right hand side. Just leaves it for Yeboah. Yeboah now inside right channel, pokes it back to Franco.
Ecuador, I can't remember in the wide areas and Ecuador going past a Curaçao player 1v1, or having that bit of excitement, bit of imagination. It's all been sort of very sideways, isn't it, and very static.
It was very much the same when they played Ivory Coast, and that was a bit of a contrast in terms of Yann Diamonde trying to take on his man all the time as 4 minutes goes up for injury time at the end of this first half. Still 0-0. Franco on that right hand side helps it out a little bit further to Yeboah, plays it back in field to Alcivar. He goes all the way back to the centre circle. In his own half is Pacho. 7 yard pass forward to Caicedo, out to Estupinian on the left hand side, right in front of his manager, who's down on one knee just surveying his players. I wonder how he feels about this opening performances. Again another long ball is looking for Estupinian on the left hand side, and it's easily claimed by Room, and Estupinian went down under a challenge from the defender, but all well between the referee rushed over just to make sure there was no aggro afterwards, but it was all friendly.
Yeah, it was all just like shoulder to shoulder. So Marning, the referee, just wanted to actually get involved and say, look, I am the referee, someone take notice of me.
We've played 1 minute of the 4 added on as Moises Caicedo hooks the ball away over his left shoulder and forward. Valencia now in the centre circle, down under a challenge. Referee content with the physicality of that. And on we play, centre circle is where the ball is. It's put square out to Brenner. He gets past his man out to Chong on this right hand side. Chong drops the shoulder and comes in field. Squares it to Comenencia, and his strike from about 25-30 yards out was never going to test Galindez.
Yeah, he's safe from Galindez, just like a T-roll in the end. Good play from Tahith Chong in the 10 position. Just get himself on the half turn, just rolls it out to Comenencia.
I love the expression P-roller. Really,
grass cutter.
Yeah, but P-roller just, it makes it sound really pathetic, doesn't it? I enjoy them.
It wasn't it? It was, yeah. He didn't.
Shot.
To be fair, Comanensia, he didn't actually get his foot through the ball, did he, with his left foot?
2 of the 4 minutes remaining, and still 0-0 between Ecuador and Curaçao. Here is Caicedo, forward and out to the left to Ngapié, knocks it forward to Estupinian, prods it back in field to Plata. Good combination down this left hand side, all patient approach play, perhaps a little bit too patient from the Ecuadorians. As Ngapié has it out on the left hand side, looks for the cross and it ricochets off a Curaçao player, but it was kept in just about by Curaçao goalkeeper Room to prevent the corner.
Yeah, well, Room's not going to be any hurry to dispute it. Obviously he'll get the 8-second countdown from the referee, and quite rightly he just thinks, right, no, we're not going to play out from the back, we're going to try and get in near at half time, so just smashing the ball up the pitch.
Free kick given here to Curaçao in a really good position. Locadia was wrestling away with Estupinian, and the referee thought about it but then decided to give the free kick, and this is a decent spot about 30 yards out in the right inside channel, and Estupinian did have his hands all over Locadia.
Yeah, it was good play from the Curaçao centre forward Locadia, just making sure that he engages Estupinian, just backs into him. Estupinian gives away a really cheap free kick. It's probably the last opportunity of the first half. Leandro Bacuna in the inside right position will whip it in with his right foot.
And one-man yellow wall for Ecuador. Bacuna lifts it towards the back post, put back across, and Valencia is there in his own penalty spot to dribble it out. He's just possessed though by Comanensia, and Comanensia is furious because he felt he won the ball there, and it's getting a little bit heated now. The Curaçao players went straight to the referee to complain about that, and in fairness, when we see the replay on our monitor in front of us, Comanensia did win the ball.
That's a great tackle in the 1990s, because Comanensia's done really well. Valencia thinks he's away, and with his right foot he's managed to hook his right foot around then Valencia, actually take the ball first, and then the follow through, Valencia falls over, and that is a modern day free kick, and Comanensia gets a bit frustrated and the referee blows for half time.
So 0-0 at the break then between Ecuador and Curaçao. The Ecuadorians started really brightly and nearly took the lead within the opening 3 minutes, and a Valencia through on goal, but a brilliant save by Room just to tip it onto the crossbar. After that, the Ecuadorians had plenty of possession, a lot of efforts on goal, but most of them off target or straight down the throat of the goalkeeper. Curaçao though look well and truly in this game. They've had a couple of half chances themselves, the Bacuna brothers and Tahi Chong looking good for them, but at half time it's Ecuador 0, Curaçao 0. Thanks Fletch, and it does look like Ecuador are about to make a change. I can see Rodriguez on the sideline. He came on last time as a sub against Ivory Coast, so 2 sub appearances as well at the 2022 World Cup. Looks like the Curaçao team is going to be the same though, as they're coming out there. So Rodriguez is on, and he replaces Al-Savar. And I do wonder as well, Perry Groves, they are playing a 3 at the back. Do they need 3 centre-backs, Ecuador?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Should be a change of shape. Let's be honest, really, you could do like with flat back 4, but play 2 centre halves and have, push your full-backs on as wing backs, even like in a 4. So Rodriguez obviously will come on and he'll play up front. So we'll see if they do have a little change of shape. It doesn't look like at the moment, Flo, that they're going to have a change of shape.
No, it doesn't. You can see there's 3 centre-backs all lined up as Curaçao about to get us back underway here in Kansas City. Fans still filing into the seats, yellow and red seats here in the Kansas City Stadium. Reminder then that Ecuador, if they lose here, are out, eliminated from the World Cup. But that would be an historic event, because it would be the first win ever for Curaçao at a World Cup, making their debut, of course. As Curaçao get us back underway then, and they do what a lot of teams do, and they fire it out for a throw-in on this near side, level with Ecuador's penalty area. No changes at the break then for Curaçao. So for them in goal is Room, still a back 5 of Fonville, Floranes, Obispo, Gari and Brennet, and then in midfield Comanensia, Leandro Bacuna, Janino Bacuna. He's still okay after that knee scare early in the first half. Tahi Chong and number 9 Locadia up front. Ecuador throw in on the far side, level with the halfway line, taken quickly by Estupinian.
Yeah, Ecuador looks like obviously Valencia will be up front with Rodriguez, and Pato just drop in behind in the 10 position. As we said earlier, it doesn't look like there's a change of shape. And we said a back three, but a lot of the times they've got a back four because Caicedo keeps dropping so deep, which you don't need him there. At the moment, he's playing a little bit further forward, which Ecuador needs, so he can, sort of dictate the play.
He tries to dink the ball up to Rodriguez.
Is that the commentator's curse?
Yeah.
Right, get him off. He just picked the ball up in the 10th position and just knocked it straight out of play.
Well, he was trying to dictate the play, but it went for a goal kick. No changes then one change for Ecuador, as we mentioned, Rodriguez on for Alcivar, so Galinda's in goal. Franco, Pacho and Hincapié, the 3 centre-halves, with Estupinian as one of the wing-backs, and I guess Yeboah is the other wing-back, unless they are at back 4, and then Caicedo, Vite, Plata, the number 10, and the 2 forwards, Rodriguez and Valencia, 36-year-old forward, and he is the man that they look for goals. He's scored 6 of Ecuador's last 7 World Cup goals, but Ecuador have not scored from open play in the last 10 hours and 30 minutes of competitive football since Enner Valencia's second goal in a 2-1 win over Valencia in March 2025. And is it maybe becoming a bit of a psychological issue, Perry?
Yeah, well, we said obviously when they had their 6 shots in the first half, 5 of them were straight down the barrel, straight at room where they didn't look like the confidence to try and pick their place and put it in the corners. So it's this is huge. We're playing like 2.5 minutes in the second half. We mentioned about if Ecuador draw, then it means they have to go into the last game where they'll have to beat Germany.
A really tall order, and in an expanded World Cup as well. Ecuador would have come into this expecting to get out the group.
Very much so. And I think what it is, it's difficult in the mind. We're just looking at Sebastian Becasese, the Ecuador manager. When they're playing in, obviously, their qualifying games, they're playing, like top teams like Argentina and Brazil, Mexico. So you can understand that they think, right, we're going to be difficult to beat and difficult to break down. It's difficult then to get out of that and go against other teams. Right, now you've got to release the hound. You've got to be more adventurous. When we can see, so even in their passing, it's all, possession for possession's sake. It's all very sideways and lateral, going from, across the 3 centre halves.
3 minutes into this second half, still Ecuador nil, Curaçao nil, as Rodriguez, the recent substitute, tries to take the ball on the half turn on that left-hand inside channel, but down he goes, no foul, and then Estupinian can't get the ball in on the left-hand side. Will be a throw-in for Curaçao and for Brenet, man who got his senior club debut in 2012 for PSV under Dick Advocate. He gave a lot of these Curaçao boys their senior club debuts or managed them during his time at PSV, so he knows them from there. So many of these players born in the Netherlands, of course. For Curaçao, Tan Chong, the only player that was actually born on the small Caribbean island nation.
And you can tell with the way that they're set up, the Curaçao players, it means a lot to them. It means a lot to them being at this World Cup. It means a lot to them representing their adopted nation.
Yeboah for Ivory Coast gets the ball across. Rodriguez in the 60-yard box, but wide, falls back towards the corner flag and out of the penalty area. He brings it to the edge of the penalty area. Now it's with Caicedo, 20 yards out, goes for a low drive, well struck, and not too close to the goalkeeper, but close enough for room to get down and save.
Yeah, we know that Caicedo's got that ability from 25 yards out. He just picks the ball up central, gets it out of his feet. He's only got one aim and ambition in his mind, is to get the shot away quickly, exactly what he does. But again, even though it's a good contact, it goes straight down the barrel to room. It's an easy save for him right down to his right hand side.
Plata now with a long range effort, and far too much elevation from that. A 25-yard strike into Rosette.
I think it's gone back into the NFL, isn't it? Just to try and get the extra point after touchdown, because as it comes to his right foot, he's just smashed it over. What, 25-30 yards over the crossbar?
Not as good as the Caicedo effort we saw a moment ago. Caicedo, of course, has scored at a World Cup previously. He scored in the 2014 World Cup 2-1 defeat to Senegal. Here comes Enner Valencia in the left flank. Blue shirts all around him, dribbles inside and gifts the ball straight back to Leandro Bacuna, who plays it 5 yards forward to Chong. Now it's up to Locadia, who couldn't get it under control, beaten in the air by Pacho. Now it's back with Caicedo on the edge of the centre circle. He plays it forward to Pacho, to Franco even. Now it's Yeboah dribbling inside, crosses it in, and it bounces awkwardly off the face of Gari, the defender for Curaçao, but it goes back in the end to the Curaçao goalkeeper.
Yeah, just a little bit of desperation, isn't there, in the Ecuadorian play? Obviously, comes out to Ibarra on the right-hand side, gets it onto his left foot, he's trying to feed it into the 18-yard box. Ecuador do have 4 players in there, but again, it's the quality of that delivery. It's got to be, should be chipped to the far post, where he sort of snap-hooked it, and then it comes off Gari and goes through to Room, where, again, it's that quality of delivery which you'd expect better from players of international standard.
Here come Ecuador though, down the left. And Rodriguez looking for the free kick, gets it. Bit of a heavy challenge from Gari, who just stepped across him and blocked his progress. So in the left-hand channel, level with the penalty box, Ecuador will have a free kick.
Well, you mentioned obviously 10 hours plus, isn't it? Ecuador haven't scored from free play, but they're good from their set pieces. Gari just giving a really cheap free kick away there. Rodriguez just trying to get on the outside of him, and Gari actually tackled with his wrong foot. And as he's going across, he's gone across with his left foot where he should be tackling with his right foot. This fouls Gari quite rightly. Ning, referee gives the free kick. So there's a massive chance here for Ecuador. Obviously to load players in the box. Ecuador just defending zonally, just a yard outside their own 6-yard box.
Rodriguez looking to make things happen since coming on at half-time. Free kick will be delivered by Moises Caicedo. Raises one hand in the air, all the players bunched around the penalty area near the 6-yard box. It comes into the near post, doesn't beat the first man, Leandro Bacuna. In fact, sorry, it's Locadia, who then hits the ball long, looking for Juninho Bacuna, but it's sorted out by Franco, and then Hincapié plays it back to Franco, and there's a couple of late challenges in there, and the referee brings out the yellow card for Juninho Bacuna for the late challenge on Piero Hincapié.
Yeah, I think Bacuna might have got away with the first one, but obviously the second one where he committed in quick succession, the referee had no option just to get a yellow card out. Just looking again about that, Moises Caicedo, one of the best midfield players in world football. He's taken a free kick on the left-hand side with his right foot. All he's got to do is just ease it into the 6-yard box to make room in Curaçao's goal and make a decision. He hits Locadia at the front post. That is just showing that, again, that sort of lack of quality, where a player of Caicedo's ability should be better than that.
Well, we'll have another chance now to lift the ball in, but this time from the left-hand side. Not 40 yards from goal. Again, doesn't quite beat the first player, but it awkwardly bounces back in, and Rodriguez then on the tight angle in the penalty area just hits the ball into the ground and well over the bar.
Caicedo shouldn't have to take any more free kicks. That's the second one where that time what he's got to do is drive it diagonally to the far post, and he's actually tried to bend it, and as he's bent it, he's only hit it probably 2 or 3 yards off the floor into a melee of players on the edge of the D, and then it ricochets, when it comes out to Rodriguez and he's off balance, he just smashes it over the crossbar.
The Ecuadorians really do not look confident in front of goal at all. As you say, they're kind of snatching at things. The final ball in, the delivery's not quite right. It's fired up to the right-hand channel. Really well done by Rodriguez to play back to Yeboah. Yeboah on the edge of the box. His ball across the face of goal, doesn't find anybody. Will be kept alive by Estupinian, who plays it back to Valencia, corner of the penalty area. He goes all the way back to Vite. Combines with Caicedo, out to Franco, now 40-yard central position. Plata on the right-hand side now, driving to the byline, into the box, but overruns it, but they did get a toe off a Curaçao player. Will be a corner for Ecuador.
At least Plata's tried to go on the outside of Fonville, gone from the favoured right foot Vite to Fonville. Curaçao's left back, they've actually just changed their mind. Obviously a new rule coming in with VAR. They can look at corners now, and it's decided that Fonville didn't get the last touch, and it was Plata that actually run it out of play.
Goal kick, and I do quite like that rule, but I don't understand why they can't check goal kicks to see if they're corners. That seems counterintuitive to me.
Yeah, well, that would be common sense, right? You don't do common sense with VAR.
The goal kick taken long downfield to Locadia, who loses out, and then Valencia with the high challenge, and another yellow card is out from the referee. Ma Ning, and I did say earlier in the first half that the Chinese know him fondly as the card master, and he is whipping out the cards now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think what's happening, the Curaçao players are just getting a little bit more tired. Comanentia just coming in over the top was a little bit late, and you know in national football you've probably got your stud showing Sketches Vitae on his left angle. To be fair to referee Marnie, he doesn't really have any choice but to give him the yellow card. But now this second half has panned out. I thought the whole game was where Curaçao haven't been a threat going forward, where before they just got dropping that sort of little bit deeper. So now it's obviously Curaçao players' concentration levels. We've got Gari, Obispo and Morenas of the three centre halves who've defended really well. The shape's been really good. The distances between each other has been exactly right.
Poorly given away by Estupinian. Here come Curaçao in the centre circle over the halfway line now. Leandro Bacuna, who's not engaged at all by any yellow shirts, and he goes for goal himself, and that is probably the poorest strike of the lot. He was on the stretch, caught it awkwardly with the outside of his foot, and just span away from goal.
I think he needs a little bit of chalk to chalk the end of his boot there, because he actually did well initially, picking the ball up in the centre circle, just driving forward. The Ecuadorians backed off and invited him to shoot, and he's just snatched it out as he got into his right foot, shanked it, sliced it completely outside his right foot past Galindez, probably about 20 yards past the post. That was the first time actually we've come up to just gone 57 minutes that Curaçao have had any attacking intent in the second half.
Yep, still 0-0 here on TalkSport between Ecuador and Curaçao. The other game in this group earlier finished Germany 2, Ivory Coast 1. Took the Germans on 6 points, Ivory Coast on 3 points, and as it stands both these sides, Ecuador and Curaçao, on a point each. Ecuador up next have Germany, so they will want to desperately get something here. They're playing their ball on the edge of the Curaçao box, cleared away though by Curaçao, and it's one back to Estupinian in the left hand channel. Goes for an early delivery, that's headed out by Obispo easily at the first time of asking, and then Curaçao make a bit of a meal of trying to clear their lines, and Plata wins it back in the box and couldn't get the cross in. It was blocked well by Brenner, out for a corner for Ecuador.
Yeah, Brenner did really well there. He had to make sure he timed his tackle perfectly. Plata just trying to go on the outside of him. Corner for Ecuador now on the left hand side. Moses Caicedo will have a little jog over. He's trying to rouse obviously the Ecuadorian fans in that far corner.
And it is mainly Ecuadorian fans here. Stands a sea of yellow shirts. There are a couple of blue waves all about, but a lot of those Ecuadorian fans, the loudest ones behind the goal which they're shooting at now, as Moses Caicedo lifts one hand in the air, lifts it up into a central area, and it's bobbling around, saved by Roon. Still Curaçao can't clear, and then eventually they do hook it away. Decent set of opportunities that though for Ecuador, but now here come Curaçao on the break. Nuno Bacuna over the halfway line. Here comes Bacuna, still alive, out to Locadia on the right hand side. He's forced well away from goal, 20 yards out on the touchline now. Locadia, the number 9, heavy strapping on his knee with just Caicedo in front of him. Goes all the way back to Comanencia, man that scored against Germany. He slides it into the left hand channel. Fonville, he goes back. Curaçao with numbers forward here, up to Leandro Bacuna on the edge of the box, lays it off to his brother, and Bacuna shoots, saved well by Galindez, and then Nuno Bacuna in the box, his ball cut back. Here is Comanencia, strikes, well saved, and the follow-up strike bobbles away, and Ecuador managed to get it clear, but Curaçao, that's the closest either side has come to taking the lead.
Yeah, brilliant play with the Bacuna brothers down the left-hand side. Leandro Bacuna linking up with his younger brother, Juninho Bacuna, just comes to him. Leandro Bacuna gets his shot. It's a good save from Galindez low down to his right-hand side. Then they manage to recycle it. Curaçao, it comes out to the edge of the box, and Comanencia gets it onto his right foot, gets his foot through it. Another good save from Galindez low down to his left-hand side. So that's the second time that Curaçao, have been threatening. Got 2 really good shots on target. Just again put that little bit of fear into the Ecuadorian players.
And they've got a throw in level with the box, and that strike from Comanencia was very similar in position and style to the one which he took and scored against Germany in the opening game. That time it was blocked by a sea of yellow shirts, even the long throw in from Curaçao all the way through to Galindez, who made a couple of good sharp stops there in that passage of play. He hits it long downfield looking for Enner Valencia, He's dispossessed really, really well by Floranes. Valencia, 36 years of age. He's not had a brilliant scoring season in the Mexican top flight, just 9 goals and 22 appearances. His goals are drying up the veteran forward. Here he is now on the left-hand side though. Can he prove me wrong? Driving towards the box from the corner, gets it onto his right foot, strikes low, but Room down onto his knees, blocking the path to goal, palms it down and gathers. 30 minutes to go, 0-0.
Another shot straight down the barrel for Room, because Enner Valencia just cutting in from that left-hand side, getting onto his right foot. Again, a player of his quality, who's got 49 S goals, he should be looking to get out of his feet and bend it into Room's left-hand corner. And what he's done, he just thought, I'll get a shot away. And again, it's gone straight along the floor, straight to him. He's managed to pick it up. I'm looking at Sebastian Becasese, the Ecuador manager. He has to take one of the centre halves on, because then basically go 2-4-4 and think, right, we're going all out now. He doesn't need. I'll be taking Franco off. You don't need Franco on there. You just need Pacho and Papier and bring another forward.
Here come Curaçao. Chong over the halfway line. Out diagonal pass forward to Juninho Bacuna. He's driving towards the box, right on the edge of the box now. Tries to trot in field. Vite though did well to just possess him, and now Ecuador have it again, getting a bit more stretch, a bit more transitional. Both sides looking for the opening goal. Here's Rodriguez now out on the left-hand side for Ecuador into the Curaçao box. Left, and he strikes it, and it struck the back of the advertising hoardings and then hit the net. There was a couple of Ecuador fans who thought that had gone in.
Yeah, just decent link-up play with Tata and Rodriguez. He just gets out to that left-hand side. Rodriguez gets it onto his left foot, should be going across the goal, ends up hitting it into the near post side netting. Just looked at that chance earlier. Rodriguez head up, decent corner for a change from Caicedo, where Ecuador makes sure they get the first contact. The ball bounces down. Rodriguez gets his head to it, and it's a really good save again from Room in the Curaçao goal to his left-hand side. But you just wonder if Sebastian Becasese, the Ecuador manager, is going to wait until the hydration break before he makes his substitutes again.
They need a goal though, Ecuador. 15 attempts at goal they've had, 9 of them on target, yet to yield a goal. They haven't scored at this World Cup yet. Ecuador, Curaçao have. They lose 7-1 to Germany, of course, as crossed ball in from Franco goes on Juninho Bacuna, and out for a corner for Ecuador. That's quite a fortuitous set piece they've gained there. Sebastian Becasese over to his other assistant coaching, discussing with them perhaps a substitute is impending for the Ecuadorians. Change is needed, that it does feel again becoming quite open, a flurry of opportunities for both teams. Which one of them can take it? There is a corner then for Ecuador. It will be taken by Plata. And it goes towards the near post. The flick on from an Ecuadorian head couldn't then be followed up by Moises Caicedo at the back post, and it goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, there's a better delivery from Tata this time, just bending it in left-footed from the right-hand side. Rodriguez makes sure he gets across the near post, gets that little flick on. You mentioned there, it's Moises Caicedo just trying to come in at far post with his false nose and glasses on, but can't quite stretch to get the contact to put it back into the 6-yard box.
Ecuador 0, Curaçao 0, live on Talk Sport in Group E. In the World Cup, we've got every single World Cup game here on Talk Sport and Talk Sport 2. As Pacho does well just to hold off the robust challenge from Locadia, the big number 9 for Curaçao, to head it back to his goalkeeper. Here is William Pacho. Forward pass. It's now with Franco. He'll touch it over the halfway line, skipping forward into the right-hand side for Yeboah. Yeboah chops back onto his left. There's a nice 1-2 with Rodriguez. Here is Yeboah, lifts it in towards the back post, looking for Valencia, whose header was well saved by Room at the near post. Another corner for Ecuador. They're starting to ramp up the pressure now. Yeah,
Curaçao just starting to set that a little bit deeper. Delgado brilliantly on that right-hand side. Fonville doesn't get close enough, just gets the ball onto his left foot, just dinks up the far post. Valencia gets his head in. It's a good save from Room, low down to his right-hand side, goes out for another corner for Ecuador on the left.
Impressive performance from Room, the goalkeeper for Curaçao. He conceded 7 against Germany. Been brilliant tonight. Can he help the side repel this corner as it's in from Caicedo, the header really good, and it's off the line again. Here is room to gather on the follow-up. And I tell you what, Rodriguez it was with the initial header. Again, straight at the goalkeeper though, but a really good flurry of opportunities for Ecuador.
Yeah, just a free header from Rodriguez, just 6 yards out. Again, he hasn't really picked his spot. He's actually a good header. It's nice and firm, but it goes through a few bodies, goes straight to room, makes a good reflex save with his double palm, then goes back out again. When it comes out to Pacho, he can't quite get the right contact on it, but it's Ecuador just starting to ramp up the temperature a little bit, ramp up that pressure. So room has been the immovable object at the moment in goal for Curaçao.
Still 0-0 though, and you feel that in this heavily partisan crowd, if Ecuador could finally get that goal, well, the stadium would come alive with joy as Locadia can't get past Pacho. Here is Hincapié, 30 yards from the Curaçao goal. Back it goes and lifted into the penalty area. Rodriguez takes it on the chest and volleys it goalwards. Blocked well though by Floranus, and now Kei Chong manages to dribble away from a couple of Ecuadorian players, and he's felled midway inside his own half. Free kick for Curaçao.
That's a really good block from Floranus, just doing his job as a centre half, protects his goalkeeper. Ball come into Rodriguez, just got his chest and tried to get a hook volley over his shoulder. So the Curaçao defenders have put their bodies on the line. They said their room in the Curaçao goal has been absolutely outstanding so far.
The referee
Very much so. He has had a lot of touches and possession for Curaçao.
The most, 17%.
Most possession or touches already. Curaçao player in this second half as we're into the hydration break, and still 0-0. Can the heavily Ecuadorian crowd will the ball into the back of the Curaçao net, or can Curaçao hang on? Because if they do, that would be a really incredible moment for the small Caribbean island nation if they get a point here on their second ever World Cup.
Do you know what's even more impressive? We said how well Dick Advocaat has got them structured and set up in. Now it's gone to like a 5-4-1, whereas in that first period it was a 5-3-2. There's been no sort of hangover, no PTSD from the 7-1 loss against Germany. Normally you think you come out and you might be a little bit hesitant. You might think, do we belong on this, worldwide stage? There's been none of that whatsoever. The reaction has been absolutely first class. So if you need your goalkeeper, to stand up, you need to go to have a good game. Exactly what Room's doing in goal for Curaçao. But all the other players have acquitted themselves really, really well. They've stuck to their task. So you've got players like Taif Chong, who's very good technically, just relieves a little bit of pressure. But we know full well now in this last 22 and a half minutes of normal time that it is going to be forwards against defence. It's whether Ecuador have got the ability to create a chance from free play, because you mentioned that stat earlier, Flo, didn't you? Is it like, obviously, what is it now, nearly 10 and a half hours where they haven't scored a goal from free play?
Yeah, more than that. We're approaching 11 hours since they last scored a goal from open play. Ecuador, they just can't quite eke it over the line. But I also think you wouldn't bet against Curaçao on the counter getting a goal for their own.
No, not at all, because they've got the quality of likes of Leandro Bacuna, and to be fair, his younger brother Janino Bacuna has looked quite lively. He likes to maybe over-elaborate sometimes with his foot overs and drag backs, whatever, but they have got, when they do break, they have got that little bit of quality.
In the hydration break then here in Kansas City, it's still Ecuador 0, Curaçao 0. Reminder, we've got every single World Cup game on the TalkSport network. Later this morning UK time, 5 a.m, it's Tunisia Japan, and then 5 p.m. on Sunday Spain Saudi Arabia. Spain looking for their first point, of course. They were held to a draw by Cape Verde. 8 p.m. on Sunday Belgium Iran, 11 p.m. Uruguay Cape Verde. As we are seeing another change then for the Ecuadorians in this hydration break. 20 minutes to play. They've brought on Sunderland's Angelo, a man that joined Sunderland in February for a decent fee, 17.5 million. He replaces Clovis Estupinian.
Well, it is an attacking substitute. Yes, Estupinian is normally like a left back, where Anglo is like a wide player playing that left hand side. But again, you've still got Franco, Pacho and Capia. You've still got 3 centre-halves on for Ecuador.
Eli Roon having such a good game for Curaçao. Tim Howard had a World Cup record for most saves in a World Cup match,
Player number 7
with 16 versus Belgium in 2014. Eli Roon so far has made 11. We've got 20 minutes remaining. 0-0 still here on TalkSport. Ecuador in possession. Yeboah plays it back into his own half where Caicedo then helps out left to Piero Hincapie. Here's Angelo then, who's just come on. First couple of touches, he's looking to run at his defender and he beats him down the left. Can he get the cross in? No, he can't. And Curaçao will manage to clear. Brennett did really well there to win it back up to Locadia, midway inside Curaçao's half. He's dispossessed. Here's Plata now, 25 yards from goal, up to Enner Valencia, tried to take it on the half turn. Dispossessed though. And now Tae Chong will try and bring it forward for Curaçao. Brilliant little turn away from a couple of Ecuadorian players. Chong is a really technical player. Now he's coming down the right hand side up against William Pacho. Good foot in there from the big Ecuadorian to win it back. Pacho coming forward over the halfway line, and it's helped onto the right hand side. Left hand, this is the right hand side, sorry. Ecuador in possession. Here is Angelo. Angelo cuts inside, goes from range, and it's beaten away by Roon out for a throw in on the left hand side, level with the penalty box.
Yeah, Angelo just going on that left hand side for Ecuador, just taking over from Estepino but playing a bit further forward.
Trying to inject a bit of pace into this game, Angelo. Ball on the edge of the penalty area. Vite, Yeboah now into the box, shoots with his right, that's blocked. Behind it goes for a corner for Ecuador.
Yeah, Ecuador just work it along the 18-yard line. This comes out to Yeboah. I think he should be actually taking it first time with his left foot. He's got a better angle, but he doesn't decide to go on the right-hand side. And in the end, Fonville just gets a block. Ball goes out for corner for Ecuador, just trying to exert a little bit more pressure.
Tell you what, Eli Roon manages to keep a clean sheet in this game. Always that they might be looking at a potential penalty for that earlier block. Now cleared, I believe. Corner then is the outcome for Ecuador. They've looked dangerous from the last couple of corners that they've had. Our referee Marning not happy with a bit of pushing and shoving in the 6-yard box, goes over to tell them off.
Yeah, basically Ecuador put 5 players in and around Room.
And it comes from Yeboah. It's a free header and it's over. And it's Piero Hincapie. Usually so effective with Arsenal from set pieces, but that was a free header, 6-yard box, and he just didn't get it right, directed it well over the bar.
Yeah, it was a good move from Yeboah, in-swing with his left foot. And Kate just gets in front of his marker, Gari. Again, can't redirect the header where he wants it to go. In the end, Room doesn't look at any panic at all. He's in Curaçao's goal, just looks it. In it goes aimless over his crossbar. And the thing you could say about Room in Curaçao's goal is he's pulled off some decent saves. A lot of them were straight at him.
And here comes Curaçao, strike from the edge of the box, beaten away by Galindez. Really good from Jununia Bacuna, and it moved in the air, so much so that Galindez had to beat it away with a left hand. But now here comes Ecuador, and a foul on Rodriguez midway inside the half, but it was a robust challenge, and it was one as well to break up the play. Professional foul, so Gari in the book. 16 minutes remaining, still Ecuador 0, Curaçao 0.
Yeah, Gari gives the referee that sideways look with his eyes. As I say, actually, I knew exactly what I was doing, because Rodriguez tried going on the outside of him and just completely body checked him. But earlier, Juninho Bacuna had a brilliant chance at the edge of the 18-yard box. He said there, he actually took a slight deflection. He got his right foot shot away. And to be fair to Galindez, he actually made a good save with his right hand. So again, there's that little reminder of Curaçao, going forward.
Changes incoming then for Curaçao. Juninho Bacuna is off for Gore, winger that plays at Ajax. And the other change coming on is Van Eimer, replacing Chong, and Margarita also coming in to the fray. So a triple change then for the Ecuadorians. Margarita had 32 appearances, 7 goals as his side won promotion to the Belgium top flight. long afro hair and a hairband holding it off his face. So 3 changes then for Curaçao. Fonva was the third man to come off. Ecuador down the left-hand side. Hincapié into the penalty area. Is there a player on for the cutback? No, there isn't. It's cleared away by Comanencia. One back. Here is Angelo into the left-hand channel for Hincapié. His ball is too high. Breaks for Yeboah at the other side. Yeboah in the box goes down under a challenge. Referee unmoved for that, but they might look at that. And now here come Curaçao on the break. Flooding forward, Gore, the man that's just come on. Chalk on his boots out on the left-hand side. Infield to Locadia. He's down under a challenge from Caicedo, but referee content with that.
Yeah, well, Flores, the centre-half for Curaçao, just got to be a little bit careful, because just as he engaged Yeboah, it looked like there was like a tangle of legs, and what he ended up doing is, when it came back to Margarita on this left-hand side, he ended up going on an overlap. The centre-half from Curaçao has got an overlap. He ends up the phone as if to say, what I do, I'll run away from the trouble, I'll get myself completely away, and I might get away with it.
Anglo in the corner of the penalty box into the left. Ball dinked up looking for Enner Valencia, who gets the header off, but again too close to Room, who catches that comfortably.
Triple substitution for Curaçao. Number 7,
just looking at the
Bacuna,
contact again
by number 14
with Yeboah. Just goes down a little bit too easy. It's not a clear enough error. Let's say, but Flores has got to be really careful. You don't get too tight, you know, because they're getting obviously a little bit more fatigue now.
21, Tahiti,
heavy legged.
13 minutes remaining. Curaçao are heading towards a historic first ever point at this, their debut World Cup. Too soon to start speaking of that, Perry?
Yes, yeah, there's going to be a long 12 and a half minutes. So the record saves, you said?
And
Eli Room must be heading towards
13 at the moment.
68,598.
And you feel that his goal will be peppered in the final 12 minutes or so. Ecuador 0, Curaçao 0, live on TalkSport. That's the voice of Perry Groves, former Arsenal winger. Ecuador in possession. Plata midway inside Curaçao's half in the left inside channel with Plata. Now it's with Caicedo. He's up to Yeboah. Yeboah and Valencia getting each other's way on the edge of the box. Comes back to Caicedo though. Here's Enner Valencia. Is he fouled on the edge of the box? No, he's not. The ball was won fairly, says the referee. And then it's won back by Caicedo. Into Franco. Caicedo midway inside the Curaçao half. And he goes back to Pacho. Pacho on to Hincapié. Out to Angelo, who's looked incisive since coming on. Couple little tricks, beats his man, beats another one, goes down into the box. Referee really content with that again. Curaçao clear.
Yeah, just doubling up there, Anglo on that left-hand side. A couple of foot overs. A couple of Michael Flatley rollbacks. But in the end, to be fair to Brenet on that right-hand side, he's defended really well in the 1v1 situations.
Still Ecuador come. Angelo combines. Rodriguez, strike from range, beaten away by Room. How many saves has he made? It's back again with Rodriguez in the penalty area, tries to get it across, strikes the back of a Curaçao defender. Another corner for Ecuador.
Yeah, another really top save there from Room in Curaçao's goal. Comes out to Rodriguez, just gets it out of his feet, gets his shot away, sort of moves in the air a little bit, so Room just made sure he's got two big strong palms, just palms it away. Another corner for Ecuador on the left hand side.
Can Ecuador find the breakthrough? Angelo to deliver this corner. The 6-yard box packed with yellow shirts. In swinger towards the back post, headed towards goal, but it's a weak one, and it's headed away and behind by Gari. Another corner for Ecuador from the other side.
Yeah, Gari couldn't take the chance, just made sure discretion was better part of valour. Obviously Room was shouting at him to leave it. Another corner for Ecuador on their right hand side to take by Plata.
Into the final 10 minutes, still 0-0. Plata delivers, doesn't beat Leandro Bacuna at the near post. You cannot do that. But Ecuador have it back. Plata in the box, centre sliding challenge, sees the ball go out for yet another corner for Ecuador.
Yeah, again, just the pressure just ramping up a notch. Another corner for Ecuador on their right hand side. This time it'll be Ybarra who comes over.
In fact, they've checked it. VAR's checked it and it's been given as a goal kick. Decision reversed.
Just another little bit of respite there from Curaçao. Won't be in any hurry to take the goal kick. Again, just a bit another shot on target for Vite. Straight down the barrel at Room. Really good save.
Room has made so many good stops, although without wanting to do a disservice to the saves he's made, none of them have been ones that a good goalkeeper should let in, and that's perhaps more of a indictment of the shooting from the Ecuadorians, as Angelo has the ball out by the corner flag on the left hand side, looking to get the ball into the box. Instead he goes all the way back to Vite. Caicedo now 40 yards from goal, central position, back to Vite. Plata now. Vite's come over to this right hand side, combines with Yeboah drifting inside, lifting the ball towards the back post, but too high for Enner Valencia. Behind it goes for a goal kick for Curaçao.
Yeah, you had him queued up on that far post. Valencia, Rodriguez, Angulo coming in from that left hand side. So Yeboah again just drifting in onto his left foot, just overhits it. You can just see the frustration now is creeping into the Ecuadorian players. They're all looking around at each other, looking for someone to take that lead, give them, sort of that impetus. So now you're talking about desperation stakes now for Ecuador. 8 minutes ago of normal time, but they just haven't had that quality flow, have they, in the final third?
And if they draw, they're not out, but they'd have to then play Germany in their final group game and get a result and get a win, and that's such a tall order. As they make a change, off comes Franco and on comes Preciado, so bringing on a bit more of an attacking player there.
Well, Preciado is normally like a right wing back or right winger, so you expect to come onto that right hand side, but it's taken Sebastian Becasese coming up to 83 minutes to take one of these centre halves off. So the Ecuadorian players haven't done their job properly on the pitch, and Sebastian Becasese hasn't done his job properly off the pitch. And if this stays at 0-0, can you imagine like the pylon is going to be from the Ecuadorian media and Ecuadorian press? Quite rightly so, because his substitutions haven't made any sense.
Two changes too for Curaçao. Morato coming on and Castaner as well, who was actually Curaçao's top goal scorer in World Cup qualifying, 5 goals in 6 appearances, including a hat-trick against St Lucia, and that won the League One title with Coventry in 2020.
Also number 9,
just fresh legs coming on, so they're sitting a little bit deeper now. Curaçao, you can understand obviously the work that they've put in, not just physically but mentally, to stay in this game.
Ecuador have less than 7 minutes to try and find a goal. 0-0. Caicedo in the centre circle, a little back heel into Vite. He helps it out to the left where Angelo picks it up 20 yards from goal. Plays it into the path of Enner Valencia, who can't get the shot on target. In fact, it is another save, I think, by Room, and that takes him level with Tim Howard for that record number of saves in a World Cup game. Brilliant.
Again, you expect the back of the net to ripple when it falls to Enner Valencia. Just coming down that left-hand side. Great little ball from Angulo. And in the end, to be fair, it's Brennett who gets himself back, gets a toe in, and then it looks like it comes back off Enner Valencia and goes wide. So again, Enner Valencia should be getting his shot away a little bit earlier, but really good defending from Brennett.
Yeah, good save actually. A good catch actually. Curry, wasn't a save by Room. Never reached him. Less than 6 minutes to go as Hincapié goes back to Galindez, the goalkeeper for Ecuador, who's had to make a couple of decent saves himself in this game. It hasn't all been one-way traffic. His forward ball picked up by Yeboah. Comes back though to the number 9 Yeboah. He helps it on to Preciado, the man that's just come on for the Ecuadorian. They've got a throw in Ecuador level midway inside the Curaçao half. Dick Advocate's up on his feet. He was emotional when Curaçao scored that goal against Germany. I suspect he'd be emotional if his side hangs on and gets a point here, their first ever World Cup point. 5 minutes to do just that. As Curaçao hit the ball into the long grass in in terms of the Ecuador penalty box. Here's Galindez, Ecuador's goalkeeper. He passes it forward. Ecuador running out of time. Vite square out to the left to Piero Hincapié, onto Angelo, infield to Caicedo. In the centre circle now is Vite. Plenty of yellow shirts forward. Yeboah midway inside Curaçao's half into Caicedo. He takes it and then spreads it out to the right hand side to Preciado, who reaches to get it, keeps it in play, fakes to cross, doesn't do it. His forward ball's then picked up by Yeboah, corner of the penalty box, little flick back to Preciado, his ball across the face of goal, cleared away by Curaçao. Brilliant ball across right in that corridor of uncertainty. No Ecuadorian player gambling on it.
Yeah, it was good link up play on that left hand side. Preciado getting himself free, great little reverse pass from Yeboah. Preciado just trying to rip the ball across the 6-yard box.
We've only had 1-0 so far in this World Cup. That was Cape Verde's 0-0 against Spain. We're heading to a similar result as things stand. Final 3.5 minutes. Can Ecuador find a late winner? And clear over the halfway line. Here is Plata out to Hincapié on the left-hand side. Margarita back to try and track him. Angelo then tries to beat his man and goes down under not enough pressure from the referee. Curaçao think it long over the halfway line.
Yeah, Will Morato did really well, just come on the sub, making sure that he's giving Brenet protection over on that right-hand side. Because Angulo has looked the more likely of the Ecuadorian players, to go past his opponent sort of 1v1.
The Ecuadorians planning another sub. A bit too late though, Perry Groves.
Yep, should have been only one sub at half time, should have been more. Didn't need, we said before, the 3 centre halves on, Franco, Pacho and Hincapié.
Here's Vite into Caicedo, whose passes have always been back or out to the side, lateral rather than incisive and forward. Here's Anglo out on the left now. In fact, it's Valencia who's dropped all the way deep to collect. Caicedo. Forward pass to Valencia wasn't a great one, but it's fortunate for him, comes out to Preciado. Here's Pacho, the Ecuadorian centre-back. All the Ecuadorian players, all the players bar Ecuador's goalkeeper in the Curaçao half now, as Anglo has it out on the right-hand side. He's got his defender flat-footed, tries to come in field. Lays it back, the ball's then dinked out to Preciado, but really well cleared by Floranes. Just jumped out of his area, headed it clear, and this will be the chance for that change then for the Ecuadorians. It's another Caicedo coming onto the field of play for Yeboah.
Substitution for Ecuador. Player number 9, John Yeboah, replaced by number 16, Jordi
Caicedo. Here's the man there. Here's Angelo. We are into the final minute. 0-0. Caicedo, edge of the box. Plays the ball forward. Valencia now edge of the box. Out it goes to the right. Preciado lifts it towards the back post. Hits the crossbar. Now it goes for a goal kick. Didn't get enough curve on the ball in. Still 0-0.
In the end, it was a poor cross from Preciado, because he's got the ball under no pressure on the right-hand corner of the 18-yard box. Just gets fed out to him by Enner Valencia, and he's just trying to bend the ball into the far post, where Caicedo, the substitute, has just come on, and in the end, it hits the top of the crossbar. He turns away like in anguish, saying, "Well, that was a bit unlucky," but it wasn't. It was just a poor cross.
It's Perry Groves calling it as he sees it. Final 30 seconds here, plus any injury time added on. Of course, there will be at least 3 minutes for the hydration break. Ecuador 0-0 against Curaçao. Here's Plata trying to drift into the penalty area. Plata into the box, tries to play it across goal rather than go from goal, and he was only about 15 yards, 10 yards out.
Why isn't Plata shooting? He's done brilliantly. He's got himself away from Florianis on the edge of the 18-yard box. He just goes inside him, gets onto his right foot. He should be just smashing that goal, tries to cross it. Lucky for him, it gets a ricochet, goes out for a corner on the right-hand side, which Plata will take.
Corner then for Ecuador. There's 5 minutes on the end of the 90. 5 minutes for Ecuador to find a goal. A goal that's been so hard to come by for them at this World Cup. In the corner comes, doesn't beat the first player, out by Bakuna. On the edge of the box, it's collected by Caicedo. He lifts it out back to the right to Plata. Plata lifts it in with his left foot. That's cleared away by Curaçao. Back again with Plata. He's brought down, but the referee plays advantage, and then there's another big challenge from Castaner and the yellow card for the number 19 for Curaçao. He was a bit late on both those challenges, that's just steaming in on them.
I think that's Castaner just trying to impose himself on the game line. Obviously he's a big physical presence been put up front for Curaçao, trying to hold the ball up, just making sure that he's chasing the ball around. Committed two fouls very quickly. Manning, the referee, no option. But again, what's happened is it's a cheap free kick now. That gives Ecuador the chance to load the ball into the 18-yard box. Moises Caicedo will take it. All he's got to do now is make sure with his instep of his right foot that he bends it in between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot, so the Ecuadorian players can go and attack it.
Moises Caicedo then. Nervy moments for the Ecuadorian fans here in Kansas City. Nail-biting stuff for them. Lifted in and over and out for a goal kick. Another poor delivery.
That is awful. That is awful. Honestly, it baffles me, a player of that quality where all it is just hitting it into an area, just lofting it in, and what he's done is just basically he smashed it, and then Room obviously in Curaçao's goal thinking I could be under pressure here, and then when he sees it he just lets it go over his head, goes out of play. That probably just sums up in that one instant the poor qualities of Ecuador going forward, because that isn't difficult. That's not difficult for a £100 million player.
And now here comes Curaçao on the attack. Forward ball into Castaner in the penalty area. Very nearly came off. Had he have taken that on the half turn, he would have been through on goal. Yeah,
Gore just coming in again into that central position, trying to find Castaner. And you say Castaner can't get his feet sorted out. Would have been a good chance for Curaçao, but Ecuador managed to recycle it.
2.5 minutes remaining. Ecuador 0, Curaçao 0, heading for only the second 0-0 at this World Cup. This would be a real blow for Ecuador in terms of their hopes of getting into the knockout rounds. As for Curaçao, well, it would be the first ever point at the World Cup. As Ecuador hit the ball into the Curaçao box, they clear it away up to Margarita, but Pacho will get there ahead of his man, and he hooks it up and out though for a throw-in on the halfway line for Curaçao.
That was a proper habit there from Brenet, wasn't it? In the right back position, just thinking, I'm not going to overplay, just going to smash it forward. Margarita just closing the ball down. Pacho actually has a bit of a panic up, where he decides to hit it out of play. You see the frustration on the face of Sebastian Becasese, the Ecuadorian manager.
The score is level, but the emotions couldn't be more contrasting between the two sets of fans. Ecuador nervous, frustrated. The Curaçaoans desperate for the whistle to go. We're into the final 1 minute and 20 seconds. Will either of these sides have a final chance? Can they take it? Piero Hincapié lifts the ball into the penalty area. Curaçao make first contact. Breaks for Caicedo. Preciado now in the right area. It's lifted into the penalty area. The back post kept alive. Is it by Piero Hincapié? Just about. Back to Enner Valencia. Corner of the box. Tries to beat his man. Goes down in the penalty area. Looks at the referee, who's unmoved. Ecuador still in possession. Angelo then. He's still trying to keep this move going. Darting into the box. Plays it across goal, and it's an awkward clearance that nearly ended up in the back of the Curaçao net, and that would have been a hideous way to concede so late.
Yeah, that was Riverato. Just had his slice there at the near post where the ball's just played in, and he's just sliced it off of his shin. There's a big gasp of breath from the Curaçao fans. But it could have ended up in Room's top right-hand corner. Lucky enough for Ecuador, goes out for a corner. It'd probably be the last Ecuadorian players surrounding Manning, the Chinese referee, that they want a penalty on Enner Valencia.
VAR is checking this. VAR is checking this then, and he's waving it on. Check over, no penalty. This will be the last action of the game then. Ecuador take the corner quickly. Lifted in towards the back post. Cleared away by Curaçao. And that is it. Or is it? All the crowd here holds their breath. That's a bit of confusion. And the referee does blow for full time then. Curaçao hold on to get their first ever point at a World Cup. The blue-shirted fans in the stands here go wild. Roon, the goalkeeper of Curaçao, on his knees, praying.
And the final score.
What a performance from him. The Curaçao players celebrating that 0-0. As for Ecuador, well, that is a massive blow to their hopes of reaching the knockout round. There's tears from some of the Ecuadorian players. They know that was not good enough. They know that might cost them. Full-time score here. Ecuador 0, Curaçao 0.